just changing the color to match your logo or something like that.
The only tool you have is albums. Now, a photo can be in multiple albums, but there's no moving within an album. However, you can drag them around.
And sort them kind of thing.
Customize the order, but there's no tagging within albums.
Definitely some room for improvement.
There's lots of room.
and welcome to tonight's Tinkering with Tech. Glad to see everybody. Probably no one's seeing me because I just noticed that my camera's not coming on. But that's okay. Hey, listen, usually it's sound. This time it's video, so that's okay. How's everybody doing out there? So glad everyone could join. A lot of us have I have invited the community in. We have a paid-for community that I talk about all the time on the show, and I had a guest on, supposed to be coming on, and he couldn't come on tonight, so I thought, what a perfect opportunity to bring in some of the people from the community, let you talk to them, see them, meet them. Most of you guys know them, some of you don't. This way we can all talk to each other and that kind of thing. So I hope that you guys learn a little something. It's all about tech, right? I mean, we're always talking about tech and trying to figure out things that help people out. We're going to learn a little bit about that today. So let's see. Let me get right to it. Let me go in and let's introduce everybody. I'm going to bring everybody on screen. There we go. There we all are. Hey, say hello, everyone. Wave your hands. There you go. So anyway, we'll just start. I'm going to start ladies first. I always do that. Miss Sheila Hensley, please say hello to everyone tonight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome.
There you go. And Ross Bundy, all the way from Australia, say hello.
Yeah. Hi, it's Ross Boundy.
Oh, excuse me.
That's okay.
I know. Of course.
I just love the way you pronounce it. I like the surprise of it.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm in South Australia, and it is a beautiful day. And hi to everyone. Thoroughly enjoy being in these types of live videos. So looking forward to what we've got.
Good, wonderful. I'm so glad. And we'll start off with eldest first. Andrew Hatchett, say hello to everyone. Just kidding.
Hello, everybody, and welcome from a cold and rainy Hermitage, Tennessee.
There you go. Tom Lingle, how about saying hello to everyone tonight?
Hi, everyone. I'm from the Great Lakes state of Michigan, and I'm up in the thumb.
There you go. There you go. Up in the thumb.
Everybody join.
There you go. Mark Barris, say hello to everyone.
Hello to everybody from Southern California. Glad to be here, Michael. Thank you for the invite.
Oh, absolutely. My pleasure. And then Wayne Nix, say hello.
Hey, everybody, coming from South Louisiana. How you doing?
I love most of these. You can tell by the accents. It's so awesome. And then we'll go ahead and go to another country. Bill, say hello to everyone. You're muted, thank goodness. No, just kidding.
I said, hey, how's it going, eh?
Perfect. That's awesome. Right now we have Russ and we have Richard out there who are community members, but I know Russ has something he's got to go to, and Richard says out there hello from the Peanut Gallery, so that's cool. And Richard, you can come in here anytime. I did send you an invite, so you're in there if you want.
Is he keeping score, I'm wondering?
Yeah, he probably is. Hey, listen, on Tinkering with Tech, the whole reason I put this thing together is I really felt like Heather and Heather could not be here. She has an obligation with church stuff on Wednesdays, so it's difficult for her to make the shows, and I totally understand that, but she helps a lot behind the scenes and gives her input on a lot of stuff, so she'll help when she can, and that's the way she is, and she comes in for some shows and that kind of thing. We started this thing, the whole premise we started it was helping people, she's a real helper. I'm a real helper. We loved helping people, and we said, why don't we put a show together? We work well together, and we always have fun, and it really is try to be a helpful environment. So, and there's so much out there nowadays with tech that I felt like, if I can give you guys some knowledge of stuff that I know, or and I've always done it this way too. It's not just me. That's a return thing too. I always learn from you guys because you'll ask questions and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know. Let's go find that out. So to me, that's fun. And so I wanted to put a community together. It's not about making money at all. What it is about is taking some of that money and using that for products that you guys are interested in, things like that, and maintaining that kind of stuff and doing that kind of thing. So that's what we've done. I mean, we've done a lot of things. We were able to get a stream deck and things like that and show how that works and, how I use that on my game shows or even this show, that kind of thing. So that's the kind of stuff that I look forward to, and we all really kind of look forward to, because there's so many tools out there, and that's what I want to talk about first. I don't want this just to be me. That's why I brought the community, and I'd love for you guys to just give me your input of how video has impacted, the world. I mean, as we look at it, and also what it means for you maybe in your business or something like that. Who wants to contribute first? Just raise your hand. I'll be glad to jump in. Wayne, you look eager. You want to talk, Wayne? I'll let you.
I was looking for Sheila, but no, I mean, so video, I mean, I was just kind of discussing earlier. I just flew back from Cleveland Clinic and presenting a presentation out there from my company and what I'm trying to do. But my company and what I'm trying to do wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Google Hangouts. So I was explaining earlier that, my sister and my 2 nieces were murdered, and I was going through a real trying time. And what was interesting was I was able to go into this Google Hangout community, and through the advent of video, not just learn about marketing, but actually build relationships and figure out that, sales is not about selling people. It's really about building relationships. And that's what I needed at the time. And it would just kind of amaze me how I can get a human connection through a video connection, right? And it was from me trying to learn from you, Michael, and from Gary, and then from several other people, Andrew, like, what's this stuff all about? Because I really found it hard to fathom that you're really giving this information out that has a lot of value for free, right? And it was just able to connect with that. And I don't know where we're going to go with it, but I'm definitely appreciative of everything you guys have been doing. So I want to contribute as much as I can too.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, I really do appreciate that too, because you know what? That's exactly it. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think that community, it truly is, and a lot of us were on Google Plus for a long time. You know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of us met, because that's where Hangouts was. It was combined with Google Plus. So I think that's what brought a lot of it to me. And I've said this before, it is truly or was, because it's leaving, but was the most truly social network, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and
I started with a cooking show. Like, a lot of people don't even know that what had happened, with me personally, because I didn't express that back then. But it was just the fact that I was able to, do some Cajun cooking on it. I mean, we only did 6 or 7 shows, right? But able to connect with Larry Fenouillet and Sheila and several other people. And we are highly considering doing that again and spinning that off into another show right now. And that's why we're back in the community too, figuring out how can we add value. Because one of the things I learned again is, is that something people want? Let's go find out before we spend a lot of time building all of this stuff. And of course, to be able to accelerate my progress in the market, tinkering with tech, baby.
There you go. There you go. All right. Who else wants to go next? Miss Sheila, would you like to go?
I couldn't have said that better myself, and would have if Wayne hadn't jumped in there first. I'm one of Wayne's biggest fans. If you've never seen somebody cook Cajun in their kitchen, then you're not watching Cajun cooking, because he did. And it was so delicious. Did I have any of it? No, because I was on the Hangout watching him do it. But I watched other people, Dawn, his wife, who assisted him, and I watched them taste it afterwards, and I really, really believed that I could taste it. It was just that good. You got that wrapped up in the cooking of it and the spices and why, and always a couple of Cajun stories in there that you really, really had to listen to, because you didn't really catch every word, but you got the gist of it, because it was Cajun. And that just being introduced to that culture, not my first time, but I enjoy it. And to Wayne and what he was doing. And we met somewhere else, but we all, I think, met at different places. And from here, we have other people we know that's not involved with tinkering with tech, but we bring all of that together and share it with each other in the community. If I know something, I'll say that I know it. Now, Bill will always tell me that I'm wrong. and that'll be a teachable moment for me, because I will learn to ask him first.
Excuse me, Miss Sheila, could I please correct you?
Yes, sir. Please do. And there is a live example of it.
Exactly.
So we learn by liking each other. Those we don't like, we stay away from. And I can't think of anybody involved that I don't like. But we learn by liking each other and liking what the other person does and supporting it. And then if we have any questions, it's all about tech. I think Michael said that. Not for me.
There you go.
I don't do tech. But I know who does do tech.
There you go. That's the key, is know the person, right? How to get
So I will hang around those people who know things that are my weaknesses and depend on them, and they always help me. And that's a really, really good community. And that's what tinkering with tech is for me. Michael, you asked me specifically about video.
Yeah.
All right, mine's going to be a little bit different because mine is all about business. I used video for business until the ducks were born. More about that later. The reason I did video at all was, one, because Michael forced me to on July 4th, 4 years ago. We looked it up. Was it 4 years or 5 years ago? Can't remember. He forced me to do my first video in Hangout. And after that, I turned that into a part of my business, and it enhanced my business credibility within my industry because nobody else was doing it. And so that's what video meant to me. It's a part of business. Other phases of video I just enjoy, like this one. I understand that we're all on videotape, but it doesn't feel like that because I feel like you're being in the audience. People who watch are being invited in to enjoy and get to know us a little bit better. So there's your thing about video, Mr. Sir Michael.
Good.
And I'll tell you more later about Sir Michael as well. Go ahead. Someone else take on.
Who else wants to go next? Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say once again, Michael, thank you for bringing us together. This is really great. For me, video has shrunk the world. I mean, it's given me the opportunity to meet people that I would have never met, and you know, it's just when you add video to a social media, and it just becomes very the validity. We become candid. We are honest, because when you're face to face with somebody, it's a lot different than when you're reading a post or something like that. So video, to me, has really helped to add these friendships like you guys, and I think that's probably one of the certainly one of the biggest impact in my life is being able to have met and will continue to meet great people like you guys, and just be honest. Be honest with each other, and you can't really do that in a two-dimensional format with social media. So I think
like you can make a phone call. I mean, right? I mean, you can make a phone call, but it's not quite the same because you don't get to see the personal reaction or the physical reaction, I guess, is what your point is.
Exactly. The eye contact, the whole relationship becomes visual. Yeah. And it's completely different. And as much as I'd like to use it more for business, I'm not yet, but it's just personally it's really helped a lot, especially with the your shows. I really appreciate what you do and getting to hang out with all you guys.
Awesome.
So thank you.
Oh, yeah. Who's next? Who wants to... Bill, you want to go?
I don't really know a hell of a lot about video, to be quite honest.
Okay. All right.
But what I do know, Michael, I owe most of it to you and your hours of dedication to putting that stuff out there, whether it be OBS or whatever. And that's where my interests lie now, is in live streaming and actually doing producing and being more in the back end and helping other people to curate other people's stories. So that, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but anyway.
Total sense. I think that's a great point. I mean, it's a valid point too.
But I also think video is changing a lot too. And I think it's something that people has to be aware of, is that, I read the other day, 56 years of video is uploaded to YouTube every day. Think about that. 56 years every day.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I mean, the impact of being involved in videos is obviously huge. But I also think that the quality is increasing too. You know, things like what you're doing, Michael, with your game shows and with tinkering with tech. Live streamers have always had to compete with the video guys, video creators who were creating all of these wonderful effects in the background and in editing, and, you know, then going public with these wonderful productions. And guys like you are doing it live now. And that's, to me, is so cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, Bill, I mean, you bring up a great point. You know, you're right, I am, and I do, and I enjoy the production, and I love putting out a good show. But the thing is, as you know me, from the very beginning, it wasn't about the quality of the video or whatever. I always try to make it better all the time. It was an ongoing process to get where I am now. But the biggest thing is that I was out there, and it was engaging and getting something going. You know what I'm saying? That's, to me, the key is you don't have to have the production like I do. You can do just like coming on like what we're doing without all the production. And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, and I thank you for that. I do appreciate that, and I do try to make it better. I am always trying to push it, and without going too far one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you try too much. You know what I mean by that?
Yeah. You don't want to create the invisible gorilla wall.
That's right. But that's a great point. That's a great point, and I appreciate you bringing that up. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's talk to anybody else. Ross, Tom. Ross, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll go next. Because it comes to mind, like, how did I start in the video stream of things? It did go back to the Hangouts on Airedale. I think it probably was what Ronnie Benser was doing to start with, and then I just gradually met so many different people. And it's was you, Bill, that said something about making the world so small. It really does open it to me. It's just expanding what is possible because of being able to meet different people in different countries and having that cultural you're learning more about so many different cultural differences as well, even just in the plus games, plus word, or the games that you say, some of the clues and the rest of it. I've got no idea what that is because it's not here in Australia. I've got no idea.
That's
awesome. It's just those sorts of things that crop up, and the amount that I've learned, because like Melanie Hall taking me through that process of not being scared on camera to start with. And now doing my own weekly live stream with psychic mediumship, which I'd never thought I'd ever do. My intent was to do more for teaching and doing set videos, creating the video that is to teach somebody how to do bob and lace making or things that are similar to that. And looking at all the different platforms you can use, the different programs and everything, it can be confusing, but being in a group like this, it starts to nut out now, what is your actual purpose? What tools do you really need? And I'm having to play around with Doodly at the moment and thinking, it's a bit crazy, some of what's there. But you do actually nut it out with you guys helping to direct a bit more, what is it that I need to do? What am I going to play with? Because it can take so much time to do anything. Knowing a bit beforehand of where you direct what you want to do is a really big help just to save time.
You're so true. That's so true on that, I swear. And I love the point that you brought up too about the not necessarily, okay, we both speak English, okay? But there's but yet there's still kind of a language barrier. You know what I'm saying? It's true though. It's so true.
Yeah, and that's from Ross Bundy.
That's right. See, I can't even get that right. So there you go. But but
you will eventually.
Yeah, I know. That's right. Exactly. No, but I love that you bring up that point, because I think that's, especially in this day and age, I think that's important. I think it's so important that all the, I know, again, and Bill's Canadian, so he's in a different country. I know we both speak English, but at the same time, there's culturally different things, and I think that's a great point. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because video helps with that. Video helps so much with that kind of stuff.
It does.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's just, it came to mind when I was doing my massage training, which I did 2004-05. in a clinic room, that we did get a bit of the multicultural spread in the clinic room, because I did have to do the training in the local city, which is Adelaide. And there was a Japanese woman. Part of a massage, when you do a full body massage, is including the feet. And it's a cultural thing with the Japanese, I found out. You don't touch somebody else's feet.
Oh, wow.
You know, for me, I thought, well, that's a bit weird, but it's just those differences. Sometimes we do need to be mindful of what can be offensive to somebody else when it's perfectly normal for us. And I'm finding the same with the video things. Sometimes we do need to be mindful in a country of free speech of actually how we are speaking and presenting ourselves.
A lesson learned. See, I learned something tonight. I learned not to touch Japanese feet. So there you go. No, but it's true though. I mean, it's just really interesting how that is. So
yeah, it's just all interesting and a wonderful experience. So I like being part of the group.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, what we can grow into with bits and pieces of tech.
Absolutely.
I like the fun gadgets. So thank you, Mike.
There you go. All right, Mr. Tom, you want to say something, or? Don't forget to unmute. Tom always forgets. No, I'm just kidding.
I was looking for the mute button. I've been involved in video for a good many years, and it's been back when video wasn't so easy to produce. I mean, you bought cameras that could cost anywhere from $1,500 to $15,000.
Wow, that's crazy.
And now these phones have replaced all of that.
No, it's nuts. Well, and you actually help like the youth. Tell them a little bit about what you do with your youth and the broadcasting and that part of it too. Tell a little bit about that. That's so interesting.
We've started working with high school students and teach the art of radio broadcasting of their high school sports events. And we have several professionals around the country that give advice and help the students produce their games, because any production, whether it's video or audio, or even writing sports stories, there's elements to all of these productions. You know, some vary, but you know, it just teaches them to communicate that through writing their sports stories or having their description.
I just think that is so awesome that you're working with the youth, because it starts with that. I mean, with the broadcast, the radio broadcast. Eventually, they're going to get into video. I mean, it's a good possibility. That's where your ESPN guys and all the sports and all the different things like that. So I think that is so fascinating and amazing that you guys are working with the youth, and I think that's awesome. So I just wanted to make sure and bring that up, because I didn't want you to. I know we're talking about video, but it leads to video possibly in the future. So that's why I wanted to bring that up.
Well, it does, and back in the time when I started the video productions, this was a mobile television production van that employed basically 16 man crew.
Wow.
And you know, we had 6 cameras that we switched, and 3 of them on instant replay. And I said, boy, I should have got interested in radio. It's about 10% the cost. but
yeah, Sheila, you wanted to mention something?
I have a question for Tom. Mm-hmm. Tom, do you think there's a possibility that a percentage of the students that you work with will go into podcasting rather than video?
Oh, I think so. Podcasting is growing.
It is.
By leaps and bounds. And
everything you do with them will prepare them to do that as well as video, right?
Correct. You know, and the great thing about audio podcasting or sportscasting is that your description draws the camera's eye in your listeners' minds, and that's a huge thing that comes out of radio. Is it trains them to communicate and draw the pictures in their listener's mind, whether it be one person they're talking to or a whole audience. So
yeah, and that's very true. I notice even watching professionally produced hockey games here in Canada, if you want a really good commentation, turn down the TV and turn on the radio station.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. I think it adds a lot. I mean, I do that quite often. The only problem is nowadays, excuse me, there's a delay. So I see the play happening live, and then all of a sudden you hear the radio part of it, which is fine. But I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to hear what they say about this, because it actually kind of gives you a little heads up. It's kind of neat that, okay, I've already seen what the play is. How is this guy going to describe it? So it's kind of cool to get that perspective of it too. I mean, I only do that because I have one announcer on Sunday Night Football that's just annoying to me. I cannot stand to listen to the guy. So I'll put the radio on just for him. And I do that exact thing. I sit there and I go through it, and I'm like, it's just awesome to hear what the announcer is going to come up with on radio to give me that picture of what I just saw. Wayne, you wanted to say something real quick? I saw you.
No, we do that with the LSU games because, nobody loves LSU on the national television. So we just turn off the TV and don't even pay cable, and we just listen to it. So
there you go. There you go. Andrew, you want to say? He's the only one that doesn't know how to use Zoom.
Sort of bring this thing all together.
All right.
People in certain communities over on G Plus keep telling me I should get a life. And I constantly tell them I've got one, and it's on video. I mean, I'm here 12 hours a day most of the time. Mm-hmm. And it's been great. It's because people like me, you may or may not know, I've got some leg trouble with neuropathy. I don't get out that much, but I've got a world open to me that was not open 20 years ago when I retired. It's been a constant thing. It's constantly improving. It becomes more and more important to me. Not only I don't have a business, but just in my life, I spend more time talking to people here than I do talking to my sister, and she's in the next room. I mean, she does her thing with the scanners, and I'm here. We all met years ago. Ronnie brought us together, but it's just gone on and on and on. And the best thing that I can do is help people understand it, try and get used to it. And luckily, I've got enough time to devote to it that I can go down all these different rabbit holes, and find out what works, what doesn't. If it doesn't, I'll tell you. If I think it should be changed, I'll tell you that. But the biggest thing, somebody mentioned liking each other. We not only like each other, we trust each other. And that is the real foundation of any community.
Yeah, I agree with you.
There is a wellspring of trust, particularly in this group, that is unlike any other online community that I know about. Because I think we spend more time actually online on video doing this type of thing than doing posts or blog posts or making videos and posting them up and everything. If you want to see social media in action, this is the group to watch. And I don't say that because I helped found it in any way or anything. It's the best group of people on earth.
Well, there you go. That was a good summation there. Now, hey, listen, I'm going to ask you a couple things. These are just personally for you. You can take like 1 minute per person or however you want, or you don't have to say anything. And just blurt it out. I don't care. Anybody can say whenever you want to. But what is, if you had to say one thing, I know we've been talking about the community a lot and stuff like that, but tech-wise, what to you, and it doesn't have to be in this group, when it comes to video, since we were already talking about video and hangouts and all this kind of stuff, what one thing stands out to you that, And some of you've already mentioned it in all your what you were saying about video. What's the one thing though most important to you that you say, okay, this I learned this and this impacted me. Here's why. Anybody, we can all talk again with each other. Or
I'll start with that. I think the biggest thing in the past year for me has been OBS. Thanks to Andrew introducing OBS in his study thing and Epos Fox's videos. Mm-hmm. And of course, all of the time you've spent, Michael, showing that. For me, OBS and Camtasia this past year have they've changed my life.
Oh, good. Okay, good. That's exactly what I want to know. And Wayne, you could probably answer a lot to this, I know, because you actually invented a piece of equipment, so you've had to adapt a lot of that stuff. So you can talk on that a little bit if you want. I mean,
as far as a tool, but I mean, we started with Minicam, if you remember,
right? Yeah,
right?
Manicam, that's right, Manicam.
Right, and then I got to OBS and I started playing with it, and then I forgot about it, and then I came across the community again, and then I saw what Michael was doing with them. I'm like, oh, I see the potential. Right? It's just I didn't have a manual for OBS, and I didn't want to spend 2 weeks looking at the other guy. He posts Vox's stuff. So I can just message Mike and be like, hey man, what's the deal? What's this about? And he's like, oh, well, just do this. You know what? Just get on the Zoom with me and I'll show you. And it was that easy. So whereas I would have spent an hour trying to figure out what it is I was even looking for before I'd actually be able to do the thing I wanted to do. And that's been part of this community. Again, is just, you almost instantaneously know. And even like I'll hit Andrew up a lot of times and probably bothers him a lot. And he just sends me off on another rabbit hole. But the idea is he sends me those rabbit holes that actually lead to a carrot and I get what I need. So definitely appreciative of that.
Hey, can I make one more point there, that just touching on what Wayne said, and that's that he went back, he saw you using OBS and went back to OBS, and that's something I remember looking at OBS a year ago, and it was over my head.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All of these things have improved so much for the user in just the last year alone. That don't judge things on what you saw in the past. Go back and check some of these things out if you're interested in doing that type of thing, I would say.
Agreed. Anybody else got input on that? Feel free.
Yeah, with what you just said there, Bill, as far as the OBS go, it scared the shit. God, Aussie language. Yeah, anyway, I steered away from it because I needed something a bit simpler. A lot of the people who I'm sort of, being told I'm supposed to connect with, your potential clients and stuff are on Facebook. And I've never really liked it, but I needed to find something that was going to actually connect into there. So there is a program that does it directly in Facebook and blah, blah, blah. But I am, now that I'm fiddling around with the Doodly thing, it's got so many similarities to how the layering and all that sort of stuff with assets and et cetera in scenes and the rest. It reminded me just then of the OBS. And I'm going to have to go back and actually have a look at it. With whatever improvements they've come up with, I might be changing how I do it too. So I love the connection of having, just chatting, and it triggers something in the head that, I've got to look at that again. So another rabbit hole. Thanks.
Well, it's something else that you have is the videos that Michael's done in the community as well.
Oh, yeah. And Andrews. Love it all.
And Andrews, yeah.
All good stuff. Yes. Who wants to add to or embellish or... Go ahead, Andrew.
The biggest thing that's influenced my life in the last year actually started 2 years ago when I found Zoom. I've been online since before the World Wide Web started. I was there when it was introduced. But Zoom has changed the thing so much. I mean, we went to Hangouts on Air, Business Hangouts, Webinar Express, GoToMeeting. And then Zoom came along and one click, and it takes nothing to set it up and nothing to bring anybody else in. That's the easy thing, is you can bring other people in real quick. It's helped grow my community, several other communities. And it's almost like people are going back to what Hangouts used to be 3 or 4 years ago. You now see more people doing, quote, shows again, unquote, simply because it is so easy and you don't have to deal with all that setup nonsense. Yeah.
Well, I think one thing too, Andrew, I mean, I will add to that. One thing that Zoom gives you that other, I mean, as opposed to just doing a video, I mean, YouTube is the platform, you know what I'm saying? It is. I mean, that's what it's made for, is video, or Twitch or any of these other ones. And Facebook Live now, all that is the platform for doing whatever live. But Zoom gives you that opportunity to make it more of a collaborative. It's not just sitting there, somebody doing a webinar teaching you something and things like that. So I have to agree with you, really. And honestly, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, if Google Hangouts would have focused and pursued, it's what Zoom actually became. I mean, seriously, they became what Hangouts should be now. That's my opinion. So
that is probably the biggest train that Google missed, was not taking Hangouts to where it should have gone.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. But I mean, I also understand that was not their focus. They do a whole bunch of different things.
Oh, yeah.
So their focus is different. But at the same time, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think that's a big deal, you know.
The thing is, Zoom is so versatile. You can use it as a talking head platform, or you can just have an open house party, and it doesn't matter. It's so adaptable. You know, I can't think of a use case that it can't fit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I am going to show right now to the audience. No, that's not my screen. Hold on a second. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. If I can figure out how to do it. And I can't, can I? No.
There's a community you could join, Michael.
I know, to learn how to do that.
Yeah, they tinker with tech all the time.
Do they really? That's funny.
I was going to ask if you wanted us to cause a diversion while you found yourself, but Bill picked up on it, grabbed it, jumped right in there. Way to go, man.
And totally distracted him. He doesn't know what the hell he even started to do now.
No clue what I'm doing now. That's right. But anyway, it's no big deal. Anyway.
And look at Andrew's background change. That's Zoom.
There you go.
There's one thing you forgot to say about Zoom, or didn't include in Zoom, or it goes without saying. But Andrew, I used it today as a coaching tool, one-on-one with a past student, and got paid for my knowledge because I could get on with them one-on-one. And they had never heard of Zoom prior to us doing it. It's that easy, and it's that good for your business if you do communicate with other people in your business, and I think everybody does. I wanted to add that. That give you enough time, Michael? Did you find out where you were going?
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm good. Basically, most of y'all are watching this on my YouTube channel. Just if you want to see past videos on the YouTube channel, just go there. It's works perfectly for you to find some of this stuff. There are a lot of things in the community that are specifically done for the community, so it's important to be a member there. The other thing is I do a daily tip. I also do a daily tip every single day. I provide a tip out there. And community members can benefit from that. I just try, and that's kind of something different, and something that not the regular lay person gets on my YouTube or whatever. They get that daily tip. So I try and do that personally for the community. Just stuff that I know. Sometimes I take for granted that I know it and you guys don't, so that's why I put it out there. I try and give everybody the opportunity. We're at like the 52 minutes. Unless anybody has something specific, I'm going to wrap this up. But like I said, if anybody wants to say something, feel free to do that. Since all the community members are already in here, we'll stay afterward. And if you want to become a community member, all that information will be in the description of the video. Please let us know. We would love to have you in the community and be a part of it. I love helping people. Anybody that knows me knows that. I volunteer in a Google Community Experts of Product Experts, where I volunteer information and give answers in there. Again, a lot of it's volunteer. So it's not about making money in the community. It's more about helping people and helping all of us get better with that kind of stuff. Do you guys have anything or any last words that you would like to say? Feel free.
I want to say we enjoy you helping us as well. But the main thing I want to say before we end and you wind it up is that I miss Heather. I know she's doing what she needs to be doing, but I miss seeing her, and I can't wait till she comes back again. And I wanted that to be on the recording.
Good. I'm
So
glad you did. That's good. Yep. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I just love it how even those little tips that are the daily ones, or whenever I can connect in, that there's always something that in the long run I can actually share with someone else, even if I don't remember it verbatim. I've got the gist and the learning to be able to help someone else.
Good
And
point.
especially in the Facebook land, I hardly ever hear of Google. What the hell's that? So at least I can direct them back. So I don't know where to sometimes now because the plus is going, but you know, it's just having that knowledge shared that passes it on, puts it forward. So it's great to actually be in groups like this. So
Great point. Great point. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. Anybody else?
I'll just say thanks for everything you do, Michael.
Oh, no worries.
Fist bump.
There you go. All right, no worries.
That looks cooler to Michael and I than it does to everybody else.
That's
I know.
true. That's true.
Not a bubble.
That's right. There you go. Well, thank you, community, for showing up. That was awesome. I love the support that you give, and I love what you guys do. And it truly is a community. It's not just a one-way street either. That's what I wanted to clarify out of all this, because I actually learned stuff as well. I mean, the whole reason that I do a daily tip is because somebody said, how do you do this? And then we make it a daily tip. I mean, that's just the way it's community is truly community. It's not a dictatorship. It's not, whatever. So to me, that's the biggest deal and the biggest thing that I get out of this. And I really do appreciate you guys as well. That's what's important to me. I'm going to end it with that. And the community, you guys stick around. We'll chat afterward. Anybody that wants to join the community, just reach out to me, leave a comment, etc., that kind of thing. Richard, Russ, thank you for showing up in the audience tonight out there. And anybody else that rewatches this, feel free to leave a comment, ask questions, and we can go over any of that. Thank you very much. Thank you again, folks, and we will see you folks next week.
Thank you, Mike.